My photo taste is the Pinterest because they are the best.
Said there have been a marvellous games in a marvellous...
Hello and welcome to News Review, the programme where we give you the words and phrases to help you talk about the news. Hi, I'm Sian, and with me in the studio today is Catherine. Hi Catherine.
Hi Sian.
What story do you have for us today?
Today, Sian, we have a story about an ending.
Ooh, can you guess what it is? Let's listen and find out.
The Olympic Games. The English we speak.
From bbclearningenglish.com.
Hello and welcome to The English We Speak. I'm Feifei.
And hello, I'm Neil. So, Feifei, did you enjoy Jane's leaving party last night?
Oh yeah, it was great. Free food and free drink.
But that was the only reason, was it? Weren't you sad to see her leave? You've worked with her for many years.
Oh, right, yes. Very sad. Such a shame to see her go. We were such good friends.
Friends? Really? Didn't she tell the boss when you took that extra long lunch break?
Oh yeah, but generally, we were best buddies.
And didn't you once punch her when she tried to chat up your boyfriend at the Christmas party?
Okay. I didn't like her that much.
Well, it sounds like you were really her frenemy. Someone who pretends to be her friend, but is really her enemy. It's a combination of two words, friend and enemy. Get it?
Yes, frenemy. I've never had one of those before.
Really? Well, let's hear this word in action.
She seems so false. I wouldn't trust her. She's just a frenemy.
Tanya's been my frenemy for years. I'd go for a quick drink with her, but that's it.
Tom's just my frenemy. I pretend to like him, but really, I can't stand him.
If you pretend to be friends with someone, but in reality you don't like each other, then they're your frenemy. I wonder if I was her frenemy.
I'm afraid you were. She told me she was only friends with you so she could share your biscuits, and she didn't really like you. She told me at the party last night.
Oh, thank goodness we are real friends, Neil. At least we can be honest with each other.
Well, actually, I don't like you much either. I only pretend to be your friend when I'm presenting this program.
Oh, no! Now I've got two frenemies.
Oh, don't cry, Faith. I was only joking.
Hello and welcome to News Review, the programme where we give you the language to help you talk about the news. Hi, I'm Sian, and joining me today is Neil. Hi, Neil.
Hi there, Sian.
What story do you have for us today?
Well, we've got a very happy story about success for the home nation at the Olympics.
Oh, so success for Brazil. Okay, let's hear the story.
In Rio, the Brazilian pole vaulter Thiago Braz da Silva has won the host country its first athletics gold medal of the Games. In a thrilling final, he broke the Olympic record to defeat the world record holder Renaud Lavillenie of France.
Okay, so the Brazilian pole vaulter, whose name is Thiago Braz da Silva, has won gold for his country, and of course Brazil is the host nation, so people in Brazil are pretty pleased, and I think people in general, because it's always nice when the host nation does well.
Excellent. So Silva has won gold.
That's right.
Excellent. Okay, so Neil, what words and phrases are being used by news sites to talk about this story?
Okay, so yes, I've been looking around, and the words that have been coming up are an upset, to pull something off, to egg someone on, and pandemonium.
Okay, so that's an upset when someone beats the team or player that was expected to win. To pull something off, to succeed in doing something that is difficult. To egg someone on, to encourage someone or urge someone to do something. And pandemonium, so a situation in which there is a lot of noise or craziness because people are excited, angry or frightened. So how are these words and phrases appearing in the news sites?
Okay, well, we'll start with that word upset. And here we have in CBS Sports, a stunning upset in pole vault tops our highlights gallery from Monday in Rio. And here from Reuters we have Da Silva delights with upset pole vault gold.
So I know upset as an adjective normally, meaning sad, to feel sad. But here it doesn't mean that.
No, there's no sadness here, except for maybe the French anthem.
I think so.
Yes, in this sense, an upset is used to describe something that wasn't expected, and it's quite often used to describe sporting surprises. Something that's interesting about this, also, of course, there's the verb to upset. You listen to the change in pronunciation. An upset to upset.
Okay, so the noun, the stress is on the first syllable, and upset. And the verb, it moves to the second. Okay, great.
Yeah.
What about the next word that you found?
Yes, okay, so we have here from the Wall Street Journal, Rio 2016, Brazil's Thiago Braz da Silva pulls off a surprise in the pole vault.
So pull.
Yeah.
Does it have the same meaning here?
No.
Doesn't make sense.
I'm afraid not. It's one of these nasty phrasal verbs
Right.
that students always struggle with.
You can't work out what they mean just by looking at them.
Exactly. It is not really connected to pulling.
Right.
This expression, to pull something off, is quite common. Again, used to describe sporting events often, or difficult achievements. When you think that something isn't going to happen and somebody manages to do it, we can say that they pulled it off.
So at the weekend I had a game of tennis. I'm terrible at tennis.
And you're rubbish. Yeah?
I'm rubbish, yeah. Everyone thought I was going to lose.
You were playing against Roger Federer.
Not quite. But I pulled it off. I won.
Wonderful.
There's a little bit of cheating involved, but that doesn't matter.
I can't believe that.
Okay, we've got another phrasal verb, haven't we, the next one?
We have.
My photo taste is the Pinterest because they are the best. Flick to link, link to flick.
Thousands or tens of thousands of times. And that formula was what brought us the Industrial Revolution. And all the things that we see, all this progress that we now enjoy has come from the fact that we've done that. We're going to do the same thing now with AI. We're going to distribute that on a grid, and now you can take that electric pump, you can add some artificial intelligence, and now you have a smart pump. And that multiplied by 1 million times is going to be this second industrial revolution. So now the car is going down the highway, has 250 horsepower, but in addition, has 250 minds. That's the auto-driven car. It's like a new commodity. It's a new utility. The AI is going to flow across the grid, the cloud, in the same way electricity did. So everything that we had electrified, we're now going to codify. And I would suggest that the formula for the next 10,000 startups is very, very simple, which is to take X and add AI. That is the formula. That's what we're going to be doing. And that is the way in which we're going to make this second industrial revolution. And by the way, right now, this minute, you can log on to Google and you can purchase AI for 6 cents, 100 hits. That's available right now. So the third aspect of this is that when we take this AI and we embody it, we get robots. And robots are going to be, bots are going to be doing many of the tasks that we have already done. And our job is just a bunch of tasks. So they're going to redefine our jobs because they're going to do some of those tasks. But they're also going to create a whole new categories, a whole new slew of tasks that we didn't know we wanted to do before. So they're going to actually engender new kinds of jobs, new kinds of tasks that we wanted done, just as automation made up a whole bunch of new things that we didn't know we needed before. Now we can't live without them. And so they're going to produce even more jobs than they take away. But it's important that a lot of the tasks that we're going to give them are tasks that can be defined in terms of efficiency or productivity. If you can specify a task, either manual or conceptual, that it can be specified in terms of efficiency or productivity, that goes to the bots. So productivity is for robots. What we're really good at is basically wasting time. We're really good at things that are inefficient. Science is inherently inefficient. It runs on the fact that you have one failure after another. It runs on the fact that you make tests and experiments that don't work, otherwise you're not learning. It runs on the fact that there is not a lot of efficiency in it. Innovation, by definition, is inefficient because you make prototypes, because you try stuff that fails, that doesn't work. Exploration is inherently inherently inefficiency. Art is not efficient. Human relationships are not efficient. These are all the kinds of things that we're going to gravitate to because they're not efficient. Efficiency is for robots. Okay? And we're also going to learn that we're going to work with these AIs because they think differently than us. So when Deep Blue beat the world's best chess champion, people thought it was the end of chess. But actually, it turns out that today, the best chess champion in the world is not an AI. And it's not a human. It's the team of a human and an AI. The best medical diagnostician is not a doctor, it's not an AI, it's the team. So we're going to be working with these AIs, and I think you'll be paid in the future by how well you work with these bots. Okay? So that's the third thing, is that they're different, their utility, and that they are going to be something that we work with rather than against. We're working with these rather than against them. So, the future, where does that take us? I think that 25 years from now, they'll look back right now, and they'll look at our understanding of AI and say, you didn't have AI. In fact, you didn't even have the internet yet, compared to what we're going to have in 25 years from now. And so, there are no AI experts right now. There are a lot of money going to it. There's billions of dollars being spent on it. It's a huge business, but there are no experts compared to what we'll know in 20 years from now. Okay? And so we are just at the beginning of the beginning. We're in the first hour of all this. We're in the first hour of the internet. We're in the first hour of what's coming. And the most popular AI product in 20 years from now that everybody uses has not been invented yet. That means that you're not late. Thank you.
Science. The very word for many of you conjures unhappy memories of boredom in high school biology or physics class. But let me assure you that what you did there had very little to do with science. That was really the what of science. It was the history of what other people had discovered. What I'm most interested in as a scientist is the how of science. Because science is knowledge in process. We make an observation, guess an explanation to that observation, and then make a prediction that we can test with an experiment or other observation. Couple of examples. First of all, people noticed that the Earth was below, the sky above, and both the sun and the moon seemed to go around them. Their guessed explanation was that the Earth must be the center of the universe. Their prediction? Everything should circle around the Earth. This was first really tested when Galileo got his hands on one of the first telescopes, and as he gazed into the night sky, what he found there was a planet, Jupiter, with 4 moons circling around it. He then used those moons to follow the path of Jupiter and found that Jupiter also was not going around the Earth, but around the sun. So the prediction test failed. And this led to the discarding of the theory that the Earth was the center of the universe. Another example, Sir Isaac Newton noticed that things fall to the Earth. The guessed explanation was gravity. The prediction that everything should fall to the Earth. But of course, not everything does fall to the Earth. So did we discard gravity? No, we revised the theory and said gravity pulls things to the Earth unless there's an equal and opposite force in the other direction. This led us to learn something new. We began to pay more attention to the bird and the bird's wings and just think of all the discoveries that have flown from that line of thinking. So the test failures, the exceptions, the outliers teach us what we don't know and lead us
to something new. This is how science moves forward. This is how science learns. Sometimes in the media, and even more rarely, but sometimes even scientists will say that something or other has been scientifically proven. But I hope that you understand that science never proves anything definitively forever. Hopefully, science remains curious enough to look for and humble enough to recognize when we have found the next outlier, the next exception, which, like Jupiter's moons, teaches us what we don't actually know. We're going to change gears here for a second. The caduceus, or the symbol of medicine, means a lot of different things to different people, but most of our public discourse on medicine really turns it into an engineering problem. We have the hallways of Congress and the boardrooms of insurance companies that try to figure out how to pay for it. The ethicists and epidemiologists try to figure out how best to distribute medicine. And hospitals and physicians are absolutely obsessed with their protocols and checklists, trying to figure out how best to safely apply medicine. These are all good things. However, they also all assume at some level that the textbook of medicine is closed. We start to measure the quality of our healthcare by how quickly we can access it. Doesn't surprise me that in this climate, many of our institutions for the provision of healthcare start to look a heck of a lot like Jiffy Lube. The only problem is that when I graduated from medical school, I didn't get one of those little doohickeys that your mechanic has to plug into your car and find out exactly what's wrong with it. Because the textbook of medicine is not closed. Medicine is science. Medicine is knowledge in process. We make an observation, we guess an explanation of that observation, and then we make a prediction that we can test. Now, the testing ground of most predictions in medicine is populations. And you may remember from those boring days in biology class that populations tend to distribute around a mean as a Gaussian or a normal curve. Therefore, in medicine, after we make a prediction from a guessed explanation, we test it in a population. That means that what we know in medicine, our knowledge and our know-how, comes from populations, but extends only as far as the next outlier, the next exception, which, like Jupiter's moons, will teach us what we don't actually know. Now, I am a surgeon who looks after patients with sarcoma. Sarcoma is a very rare form of cancer. It's the cancer of flesh and bones. And I would tell you that every one of my patients is an outlier, is an exception. There is no surgery I have ever performed for a sarcoma patient that has ever been guided by a randomized controlled clinical trial, what we consider the best kind of population-based evidence in medicine.
Flick to link, link to flick. My photo taste is the Pinterest because they are the best.
Said there have been a marvelous games in a marvelous...
Hello and welcome to News Review, the program where we give you the words and phrases to help you talk about the news. Hi, I'm Sha.